Hello all. So welcome to this video. So in this video I'm going to discuss about some of the band 6 interview questions and answers. So I'm just going to discuss about some of the common questions and their answers. And I hope this video is going to be helpful to all of you, those who are looking forward for a career progression. If you haven't attended any interview before, like if it is your first time attending an interview, I would like to tell you. So the interview, it could mostly consist of a three members in the interview panel, and it can vary from like 2 to 3 for a band 6 interview, but it can vary. It can be different again with a different trust. So they could ask you like 3 questions each, like it can be maximum of 9 questions, but it can vary anywhere from 6 to 9 questions or 5 to 9 questions. It really depends upon the test, but you can expect a number of questions like 5 to or 6 to 9, most probably. And it always starts with a self introduction, like they will be introducing them to you and you will be introducing yourself to them. So it will be mostly a friendly atmosphere, so no tension, no worries about the interview. So the first question in all the interviews will be your career update. So they will be asking you your journey as a nurse till now. So I would like to tell you that this is a wonderful opportunity or a great platform for you to highlight your qualities or tell in detail about your experiences, your success, your positive feedbacks, um, how you how you how you structured your professional life, or how you gained the skills or confidence and what you are now. So it's a great opportunity. You can explain to them, you can highlight your abilities or capabilities as a team leader or a charge nurse with different scenarios or different incidents that actually happened in your during your career or during your education. So utilize this question to its maximum, I would like to tell you. So it normally starts with a self introduction. You can briefly introduce yourself, like my name is Anu, working as a staff nurse in this hospital, this department here for 2 years. So back to my education, I've done my education, nursing education in India, where I have completed by masters and bachelors in nursing. It's a 4 year course. And after that, I was very passionate about nursing. I wanted to continue my education, so I've done my masters in oncology nursing. And you can always tell them about your the activities you have undertaken you during your education, like you might have undertaken research activities, like so you can just kind of briefly tell them about the research you have undertaken and what it was and how, what is the interesting point about it. Then also you can highlight about the activities you have volunteered. So for example, me, I have done a master's in oncological nursing. So during that time I have volunteered for breast cancer screening clinics and oral cancer screening clinics. So this is a very good point because this shows how passionate you are towards your job. So you could also add like your points, like whatever you have done during your activity, during your education. Then starting to my career, I have started my career, nursing career in 2017, where I took up my first job. So you could explain to them which department was that, which hospital. So for me, it was in pediatric surgery ITU. So you could tell them your experience there, how you felt there. Like for me, when I was a newly graduate, it was like a great opportunity. Like it was a bit challenging for me since I had to take care of pediatrics and neonates, that to like critically unwell patients after post surgery who would be on ventilators. But like it was challenging, but at the same time it increased my confidence as a newly graduate nurse, because it was a great opportunity for me to take care of unwell patients. So I learned a lot, and that was a great learning opportunity for me. So you could tell your experience as a nurse, like then you could tell if you have taken up any other jobs, and then you could tell them about the start of your journey here. Like you should be emphasizing on your employment in UK as well, because that is very important. Because you should be telling them more about the journey as a nurse in UK here. So I have explained to you the structure of a career update I have given in my interview. So in that I already explained in the previous slide about you need to quote the examples or incidents that happened in your career, so that you can highlight your qualities as a team leader or a manager. So that would help you. So here I'm going to quote some of the examples that I have used in my interview. So you could that would be helpful for you. So keep in mind one thing, like you should be using a technique while explaining these examples. That's a STAR technique. So that helps in many of the interviews, and you can, if you search in YouTube, you can find many videos explaining the STAR technique. So STAR techniques, so as the abbreviation STAR, so STAR stands for S for the situation. You should be explaining the situation, what situation that happened. Then T, the task you were supposed to do. And A stands for action. So what action you took to solve your problem or the task, or what action you took. And R is a result. So you should be explaining what was the result of your actions. So how that made the problem, how that solved the problem. So with the STAR technique, I'm going to explain some of the incidents that happened in my career. So first of all, when I started 2017, I started to work in pediatric surgery ITU. So there I had an incident where I got the opportunity to like act as a patient advocate. So I would like to take that example here. So it was one of the days where in our hospital, the hospital used to provide good nutritious food to the mothers, so that the mothers can produce adequate milk to feed the babies who were sick in the ITU. So that helps in their early recovery. So one of the days when I was working in ITU, one of the mother approached me and made a complaint that the food that is provided from the hospital, from that a part of the food was taken by the staff working in the hospital. So she was very distressed about the situation. So as a staff who is responsible, like as a leader, I felt very bad, and I felt that the action is very unprofessional, and the staff should not be behaving to the patient in such a way. So I reassured the mother. I reassured her, telling that I would look into the problem, and I would put a stop to this issue. So then I went to the staff whom I thought would be a part of the problem, or whom I thought would be involved in the problem. So I discussed to them that I received a complaint from the mother, telling that a part of food is taken away by the staff, so which I think it's very unprofessional, and that should not be repeated in any case. And I also explained to them the importance of good nutrition to the mothers and good nutrition to the babies. So I explained to them that the mothers are already in a lot of emotional and physical stress. So this good nutrition will help them produce adequate milk, so that we can feed the babies who are very sick in the ITU. So that helps in their early recovery. So I explained to them all this importance of the nutrition, and also I told them to inform the ITU staff when next time the kitchen trolley comes to the ITU, they should be informing the ITU staff, so that we will be distributing the food to the mothers to make sure the mothers get their adequate nutrition. Okay, and to put a further stop to this problem, I called the kitchen department and I escalated to them that such a problem is happening in our ITU. So whenever the kitchen trolley comes to the ITU, whoever bringing the food should be informing the ITU staff, so that they can make sure that the mothers get their proper nutrition. So that incident made a change, or made an effect in the life of the mothers and the babies, I believe. And of course that was a great learning lessons to the colleagues who was working in the ITU. So that was a good, I still remember that as a good example where I was able to act as a patient advocate. So this is a good example. This kind of examples might have happened in your career as well. So you could take your own examples and then explain them using the STAR techniques. So make sure you explain the situation, the task, the action you took, and the result that happened. Yeah. So the next I'm going to take give an example where I worked as a team leader. So then after the pediatric surgery ITU, we had an internal rotation where I moved to medicine ward. So medicine ward, like, it was a 36 bedded medicine ward. uh, that was in during that time it was acutely short, so we only had two staff nurses to take care of the 36 patients in the ward. So it was a very challenging situation for us because we had to provide quality care to our patients with the limited resources. And in many of the shifts, I worked as a senior nurse and I had to deal with many of the unexpected situations. So I'm going to explain one of the days where I had to raise my voice against the unsafe practice that was happening in the ward, and I believe that I was able to act as a team leader in that situation. So it was during one of the days where I was working with a, another woman, another one colleague who came from a different ward because of the staff shortage. So we were working together on one day afternoon. So some of the doctors approached us with a request that they wanted to use our treatment room for the blood transfusion of OPD patients. So we agreed to the request since I already explained the resources were limited and we had to divide and use it for all of the patients who are needy. I was happy to agree to that. Then later on, when we were doing medication, they came with around 4 patients and with the 4 bags of blood in their hands. So telling that they want to transfuse in the treatment room. I looked at the treatment room. We only had one trolley and one oxygen and suction equipment, and there were 4 patients with going to be transfused at the same time. I never expected that. Then I put the patient safety first, so I understood that's very unsafe situation, because if something goes wrong we won't be able to resuscitate all 4 of the patients. So it was a very unsafe situation. I didn't want to put the patient's life at risk. So I stopped them. I explained to the doctors that this is very unsafe because we only have one trolley and one suction and oxygen equipment. It's very unsafe, so I don't want to you to continue with this procedure. So they understood. Then I also want to make sure that the patients are not denied any care because of the decision I'm taking. So I'm a bit concerned because as we know that the resources are limited in that scenario. So I discussed with the doctors whether any of these transfusions are emergency. So they just replied, no, none of these transfusions are emergency. They are just the routine transfusions that are happening for the OPD patients. So that can wait. So I told them, if you want to do the transfusion, you can do it for one patient at a time. So they agreed to it and they done the transfusion for one patient, and they sent remaining back home with the different dates of appointment. And since it was a major incident that was a challenge to the patient safety, so I decided to escalate it to the ward managers so that they can have a look at this, and they can put a further stop to this incident and make sure that patient safety is considered as a priority. So we had a book called communication book. So we wrote in the communication book that such an incident happened, and I escalated it to the ward manager. So they discussed it with the concerned department and they found a place for the patient so that they can have their transfusion safely. So that was still that was a good example where I acted as a team leader. So I was able to put my patient safety first. So that was a great example. Uh, then in March 2020, I moved to UK, started to work in UK. So that was a very challenging time where where like that was a time of COVID pandemic, so we were acutely short, the patients were critical, there were a lot of staff shortages, staff absenteeism because of the COVID and things like that. So in that acute staff shortage, I still remember a day where our unit worked as a great team to provide safe and quality care to the patients irrespective of the staff shortage. So it was one of the days where on the late afternoon we were acutely short of staff, where we only had 4 nurses and 1 healthcare assistant to take care of the entire 36 patients. And during that time I was working as a band 4, so I had a major responsibility to offer a helping hand for the 27 patients and the 3 nurses working on one side. So it was a bit challenging, but still we worked as a team. So we worked as a team to provide quality care to the patients and to maintain this patient safety, and it worked when we worked as a team. I still remember that day as an example of a good team, like we worked as a great team to ensure our patients are safe. So at the end of the day we were able to hand over our patients, entire 36 patients, to the night team without any faults, safely. So that was it. Still I remember that day as like it was a great teamwork. It was an example of great teamwork. Then I started working as a band 5 in December. Then I have, from that time I have been a part of the team. I was able to provide the care to the patients safely, and during this time I also got the opportunity to supervise student nurses. So I still remember a day where I was able to act as a role model to the students. So it was during one of the days where we were taking handover from the night team. One of my colleague healthcare assistant called out my student nurse name for help, as one of the patient was confused and was coming out of the bed, was about to have a fall. But my student nurse whom I was working with just replied that she's on the last patient and she's going to come after taking the last patient handover, which I found is very unsafe, because as a nurse, as a team leader, as a nurse, we should be putting our patient safety first. So at that time handover can wait, and we need to take care of the patient safety. So that is our duty of care. So I went immediately, stopped the handover. I went immediately to help my colleague to get the patient back to bed, and I ensured that everything is safe. Then I went back and took the handover. So after I took the handover, I called the student nurse. I explained to her that this is not the way you should be behaving. As a nurse, we are supposed to put our patient safety first. So what you should have done was you should have like stop the handover, went to make sure your patient is fine, then you should have come back and taken the handover. So in that incident I believe that I was able to act as a role model to my student nurse, so that I was able to put the patient safety first, and I was able to make sure that my patient is safe. So like that you could also give examples that these are incidences, like you need to structure your incidences that happened in your career, so that they can be good example to highlight the qualities you have as a team leader. So the next question is, why do you think we should accept you for this job? So you tell them you are suitable for this job, because you tell them I am suitable for this job, I am able to manage the ward, I am a good leader, I am a good problem solver, I am a good team player, I am knowledgeable, I am a good communicator, and I am a role model. So I am suitable for this job. So you show them your confidence, and you make them believe that you are suitable for this job, and you are actually suitable for this job. That is, I have to tell you. So let me explain. So the first is, I am suitable for this job because I have the experience you are looking for. For example, I mentioned that in my career update that I have worked 2 years. I have got total of 4.5 experience in medicine. So in which I have worked 2 years in back home in medicine, and here I have worked 2 years in this hospital in medicine department. And during that time I have dealt with a lot of medical emergencies, emergency intubation, unexpected problems, and I was able to deal with all those problems, and I have the experience you are looking for. Second, I am able to manage the ward. So I am able to manage the ward. I have mentioned in my previous career update that I already explained the situation where I was able to raise my voice against the unsafe practice that was happening in the ward. That is, for example, the case of the blood transfusion. So in that case, I was able to put the patient first by making sure that they get the treatment safely, and I also made sure that they are not denied the treatment. I also took a further step to prevent the further incidents by escalating it for the patient safety, for that the patient will benefit and the problem will be solved with a suitable solution. So I am able to manage the ward. I am a good leader and I am a good problem solver. I don't discriminate against my patients or my colleagues. I always believe in equality and diversity, and I can solve a problem because when you work as a team, you have a group of people with different opinions, different perspectives, and different working style. So there a conflict can arise. It's normal for a group. So I am a good problem solver. I would like to give you an example where I was able to work as a good team leader by solving the problems in the group, so that we worked as a good team. I made sure that as a team leader, I made sure that we worked together as a team, good team. So it was one of the days where we were working. So we had like 9 patients. We were working as a team, so we had 9 patients. So with me I had my healthcare assistant and a student. So we were taking, 3 of us were taking care of 9 patients. So on one of the days, my healthcare assistant started complaining to me about the student who was working with me. So she started complaining that he is only concentrating on the medication management, not helping with the care of the patient. This is not the way he's supposed to behave as a nurse, as a student nurse. He should be helping with the care as well. That is not the only job of the student nurse. So I agreed with her, since I felt that he should be involving in the care of the patient as well, not only concentrating on the medicine management. But I also know that that is his second or third day. So he's just getting used to the environment. He's just getting used to the routine. He's trying to learn, and yeah, so it's a new thing for him. So we need to give him time. It's we should be supporting him as a student. So he's an upcoming, he is going to be a nurse, so we should be supporting him. We should be giving him suggestions, but we should be supporting him at the same time. So I explained to her that I would talk to him regarding this, and he should definitely be helping in the patient care as well, but we should be giving him time. And I explained to her that this is his third day and we should give him some time so that he can get adjusted to the duties, the routines, and so he can be better. So we should give him support. Then I spoke with my student, since since my colleague gave me a feedback regarding him. It's definitely he should know about that. So he should be improving himself to his best. So I took that opportunity to speak to him regarding what my colleague told. And I told him that I have told her that you need time because you are a student and you're trying to cope with your new environment. But I mentioned to him that you should be able to concentrate on the care of everything, not only the medicine management, but you should be the team leader for your patient. Like you should be able to coordinate your patient care, your medicine management, or whatever happening in with your patient. You are fully responsible. You are not only responsible for the medicine management. And I also taught him the importance of delegation, and asking for help is very important. So he understood that his job roles and responsibilities as a nurse. So he also started to concentrate more on the patient care as well. So he started work helping my colleague as well. So since I was able to communicate between them, and I was able to communicate the problems to each other. They understood the problem well, and they understood the situation well. And at the end of the day, we were able to work as a team. So we worked together as a team, and we happily finished the shift. So that was a good example where I was able to work as a good team leader and a good problem solver. I'm a good team player, so I'm approachable to others. I always motivate and guide my colleagues to achieve their career goals, as well as I solve the conflicts so that so that people can make a good team to work towards the patient care. That is a common goal. I'm knowledgeable, so I have good knowledge, and I put my knowledge in practice for to deliver quality care, to deliver safe and effective care to my patients. And I've also received positive feedbacks from my colleagues for doing the same. So I would like to take an example here. So it was during one of my night duties when I took handover from the day team, and the patient was on a fixed rate insulin that was going at 8 units per hour, and he was on plain sodium, normal saline. That was a young patient, and I noticed this when I took the handover, that the BBG was not done from lunchtime. So I immediately done a VBG, and I found out that the patient potassium was 2.6. So when the patient is getting IV insulin, the chance of the potassium going low is inevitable. So we should be ensuring and making sure that we do a VBG. So I had the knowledge, and I put that into practice to give a safe and effective care to my patient. So I called the doctor to tell him the results of the VBG, and I also told him he needs some fluids with potassium. So my doctor gave me a positive feedback about the incident, and he appreciated me, and I was able to, with that, I was able to provide safe care to my patient. I'm a good communicator, so I take my time to speak to my patient. I communicate to them so that I can understand them, I can explain the situation to them. So that makes that that improves the quality of care we are providing, I believe so. So it was one of the days I still remember. So I had a patient who came with embolic stroke. So he was playing, he was a young and independent man. He was 60 years old. He was playing golf, and after 1 hour or 2 hours after, when he was playing golf, he felt weakness on one of his side, and he was admitted with an embolic stroke. So he has been reviewed by the cardiology, and he is waiting. It was for the next day. He was waiting for a transesophageal echocardiography to find out what is going inside. So the cardiologist strictly advised bed rest for him, but he was a very independent man. He wanted to be independent, and he was not obedient at all. So he started to move around, he started to increase his physical activity. He was not obeying to us, and he didn't take the words of the doctor. He wanted to go around in the ward. So I understood that the situation is very unsafe, and he is not understanding, or is not obeying us. So I took my time. I went near him, and I went near him, and I explained the situation to him. So I explained, I explained the situation in detail, like they are suspecting and infected a group of microorganisms traveling in your bloodstream. So that has the capacity to block some of your blood vessels and stop the blood flow to that area. So that can increase problems. That can give you more problems, more worries. So that is why the doctors are advising a strict bed rest to you. So I explained the reason behind they are advising the bed rest. He understood me. He told me nobody has explained this to me. So I strongly believe that communication can solve 80% of your problem. It's a good tool in solving the problems. So I believe I am a good communicator, and I'm a good role model as well. I already explained a situation where I was able to act as a good role model to my student nurse, and I also take my time to help my overseas nurses who come from abroad. So I take my time to help them, I educate them, guide them. So I am a good role model as well. So here I am going to explain the question, what can you bring to the role? So I will bring the skills I have acquired during my experience. I have worked with different patient populations, as I have worked with adults and pediatrics, and I have also worked in different departments, specialties like oncology, medicine units. So I am going to bring all the skills and experience I have gained during that time. I can build a good team here in this department. I am able to build a good team. So I am able to, like for example, I am able to help my colleagues to attend the training and competencies, so that there is always a competent team looking forward for continuous professional developments. And I am also able to resolve the team conflicts by using my communication and problem solving skills, so that I can bring the team together. I can also take my time and initiative to organize team meetings and small get-togethers and celebrations to get a good team spirit. So which I believe will increase the team members' commitment to this department and change. So I will bring the positivity to embrace a change that is happening in the department. So a change is vital for an organization for its growth. As a leader, we should be promoting the change. And every time when a change is happening, we should remind the members that it is an attempt to get better. For example, recently we had many changes that is happening in our department. For example, we had the new paperwork and the ketone machine, barcoding system, the blood tracker barcoding system. So all these initially as a team we felt is difficult and it's new to accept. But these all are an effort to provide more better quality care to our patient, quality and safe care to our patients. Then quality, I will provide quality care to the patients, and I will strive to provide quality improvements. So I would be doing audits, and I will undertake regular audits to find the current practice and also to know where we are lacking. And I believe that in this department the patient can benefit a lot from the health education, and it's a great area to bring the quality or improve the quality in health education, can prevent the readmission of patients to this department. So I would take initiative to distribute the pamphlets or leaflets and to take time to give them quality education. Another one question you could expect is, what are your strength and weakness? So you could express your strengths in such a way that you feel that you would be having certain strengths and you could put them first. So you will feel more confident in answering these questions, and you tailor it so that are the qualities of a good team leader. So like you could tell them that you have got diverse experience. You could give examples like you have worked in these many departments again, and I've got good knowledge. And you could now tell them a different experience where you applied your knowledge to deliver a good quality or safe care to your patients, and where you received feedback, and you tell them I am competent. You could tell them that you have got these many competencies, these many skills, and you are able to practice them independently. So you are an independent nurse. You tell them that. And you tell them I am a collaborative team worker. So, and you understand the effective patient care cannot be achieved single-handedly, and it needs teamwork, and I am required to support my colleagues in carrying out difficult tasks. So this is a good example. This is a great quality, and you could tell them that there would be different situations where you helped your colleagues to carry out some task, or to help out your colleagues in difficult time or in times of staff shortage. It's not new thing. So you could structure one of the such situation as a good example here, and you could prove them that you are a good collaborative team worker. Then I'm a good leader and a problem solver. Again, you could give some other examples to make them believe or make them show them how confident a good team leader and a problem solver you are. So there can be many strengths. You can put some other things like you are approachable, you are a good team, you are a good communicator. So you could, whatever you feel your strengths are, you could put them here, and you could correlate it to as a quality of a good team leader. So in this slide, I'm going to discuss about the weakness. So you tell them one weakness or a maximum of two weakness, and tell them in a way that it was a weakness and now you worked on it, or you are working on it, or like you are improving. You are not you are not stuck with your weakness, but you are coming out of it. You learned something new and you are going to come out of it, or you have improved a lot. You have worked on it. Okay, so here I'm going to tell, I find my weakness is I find it very hard to say no when others ask help. So you could quote some of your past experience, like some of the days when you agreed to help somebody, but you were stuck with your work and you overburdened yourself, and for if you give a false promise, that can create a conflict or problem with your colleague as well. So it could create a lot of problems. So you could quote a past experience here, and later on you worked on that, on the basis of the experience or on the basis of your problem. You worked on your problem and you found a way out. Here I found a way out by improving my delegation skills. So I'm able to delegate some task which everybody can do, and if I want to help, I can help the person. So with the task I can do. So I believe that you got me. So now I find it easier to help others without overburdening myself, and at the same time I'm able to say no when I'm too much busy. If I'm too much busy, I learned how to say no. So that's a very important quality. So you tell them that you are coming out of it, you improved a lot and you learned something new. So that's a very good thing. So that is how you should be presenting your weakness. So this is another important question. So that is important from the present scenario also, and it's a very important question. It will be asked in most of the interviews. So that is about the equality and diversity. So what do you mean by equality and diversity, and how do you think we could promote, or how we are promoting equality and diversity? So you could start with the definition, it's up to you. So equality is ensuring every individual has equal opportunity, and diversity means that every individual is unique and has got different needs. So you, while talking about that, you could tell them that our society is getting more and more diverse. To serve a society who is very diverse, we should be having staff from all the backgrounds, so that the society can be served is best. For example, in UK we have got a lot of migration, so we have got a lot of cultural mixing. We have got patients from different backgrounds. So we have got people from India, Sri Lanka, then Philippines, and then some other EU countries. So they could, when they are in the hospital, there could be a lot of cultural or language barrier if the organization is not inclusive and if the organization is not diverse. But when an organization is diverse, if you need the help, immediate help of a, I mean, help to translate or do something, you could get a staff who is like speaks the same language or who's from the same culture, so the patient also feel comfortable, and so that serves so we will be able to serve the patient to the best quality. So that's a very important thing. And Then it should be knowing, and also when an organization is diverse and inclusive, so it also help retain the staff. So the staff will feel they are valued and they are also included as a part of the team. So for example, all of the hospitals are having like preceptorship course. So these are for the overseas nurses too, because they have got different learning needs. They come from a different background, so they need to get more awareness of the cultural or the work atmosphere here. So they have got preceptorship programs, so that help them mingle to this, or help them mingle to this atmosphere very quickly. Then how we promote diversity and inclusion in the workplace. So you could talk about the initiative that your trust is doing. For example, you would be definitely having a prayer room, multi-faith chapel. So that's a great example of promoting the diversity and inclusion. You respect people of all culture and faith. So that's a great example. Then you could talk about the anti-discriminatory policies that are available in your trust, and you could also talk about the reasonable adjustments that are available. For example, to respect single mothers, we have got leaves or flexible duties, and for the parents, yeah, for example, not only the single mothers, for the parents we have got flexible duties. Then for and then we have got the diets, special diets in the hospital. For example, for those who need say halal food, they can order halal food. And we have got cultural foods, because to respect the other culture, we respect that they have got different needs, so we include them. So that's a great example. Your trust has got a cultural meal. That's also a great example. Then you could mention that if your trust is celebrating diversity week, they have got a diversity calendar. These are happening in most of the trusts, so you could look into your trust, what your trust specifically has got. And some of the trust even have special badges to support some communities. So these all are the like the ways in which we promote the diversity and inclusion in the workplace. And by this answer, you tell them that you are a person who believes in equality and diversity, and who respects everyone irrespective of the individual leader. So that is a great quality of a leader. So you tell them you are aware of this and you are doing this. So this question you could expect in most of the interviews. So I'm going to mention some other questions that could come up into your interview. So what is clinical governance? What are the 7 pillars of clinical governance? So you have got so many YouTube videos on the clinical governance and its pillars, and you always remember to quote it with an example. So that is very important. So that shows your understanding or in-depth knowledge of the clinical governance when you give it with an example. So I'm not going to go into the answers of clinical governance. Then another question you could expect, since you are applying for a band 6 post, that is, what are the non-clinical duties of band 6? So you could tell them that staffing skill, ensuring that skill mix is available in each shift. That's a great quality. Then hiring clinical support staff, being a member of the interview panel. Then induction and orientation to the new staff, and supporting the new staff, mentoring them, and ensuring that their learning needs are achieved, and feeling and supporting them. It is one of the greatest duties of band 6, as they are in the management level. Then addressing the issues that is happening in the ward, report near misses and incidents, communication to the team, and taking measures to prevent them again, like datics for example, and you could tell them incidents. And ensuring adequate stock is available for the smooth and safe care of the functioning of the ward. So that is also a very important duty. Then conduct staff appraisal, that is also important, and ensure that the hospital guidelines or protocols are followed for maintaining the safe care of the patient. So you could tell them all these things, and you could add your own points to that. And behavioral questions, so you could be getting a lot of behavioral questions, like 3, or you could expect the 3 behavioral questions minimum in a band 6 interview. I would be giving some examples of behavioral questions in my next video. So I hope we have discussed some of the important questions that comes up in the band 6 interview. So I would like to tell you that you all go for your next level, you go for your career progression, and don't limit yourself into what you're doing now. Even though it's uncomfortable, a change is always uncomfortable. It's going to bring lot of new changes, new confidence, and new horizons. It's going to open a lot of new horizons to you. So I would like to tell you, success is dependent on the effort you take. All the best for your upcoming interview. Thank you.